The Galactic Empire had ruled the stars for centuries. Its fleets were enormous, its technology unmatched, and its armies feared in every corner of known space. Yet among all the countless planets under their gaze, one world made them laugh. Earth, a tiny blue planet spinning quietly on the edge of a forgotten solar system. To the Empire, Earth was nothing more than a joke, a backward planet filled with weak creatures who had no place in galactic affairs. Emperor Valkor sat upon his dark throne aboard the colossal flagship Oblivion's. He leaned forward, fingers steepled, eyes cold as he watched the reports of Earth's defenses. "Look at them," he sneered, a cruel smile twisting his face. "Primitive ships, tiny fleets. Brave fools thinking they can resist us. They are no threat, nothing more than ants underfoot." His generals nodded nervously, afraid to speak against him, but secretly agreeing. No one had ever challenged the Empire and lived. On Earth, life went on quietly, almost oblivious to the looming threat. Cities shone with bright lights, oceans shimmered under the sun, and humans went about their daily lives, unaware that the galaxy's greatest power had already set its sights on them. Yet behind the scenes, Earth's people were far from helpless. Scientists worked tirelessly in labs, engineers built prototypes in secret hangars, and soldiers trained under harsh conditions, preparing for a war they hoped would never come, but knew might. Commander Lyra stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship Intrepid Dawn, gazing at the star map in front of her. Every dot represented a potential threat, every line a possible path of destruction from the Empire's approaching fleets. Her heart pounded, but her face remained calm. She knew fear was a luxury they could not afford. Her crew, young and old, looked to her for guidance, for courage, for hope. "They think we are weak," she said softly, almost to herself. "They think we are nothing, but they do not know us." The crew of the Intrepid Dawn had heard the rumors, tales from scouts and intercepted transmissions. They had been warned that the Empire had never lost a battle, never faced a species that could truly challenge them. And yet, despite knowing the odds, none of them felt despair. Humans had a stubbornness built into their very nature, a refusal to give up even when hope seemed impossible. It was a trait no empire had ever seen before, and it would soon be their greatest weapon. Below the bridge and the hangars, young pilots checked their ships again and again. Mechanics tightened every bolt, engineers recalculated every trajectory, and scientists activated systems that had never been tested in battle. There was tension, yes, but also excitement. For the first time, these humans were facing a threat that could destroy them entirely, and for the first time they realized how much they were willing to fight, not just for survival, but for respect. "Commander Lyra," said Captain Rian, a veteran pilot whose face was lined with scars from battles past. "They see us as ants. They will come with everything they have. Are we ready for that?" Lyra turned to him, her gaze steady. "We are always ready, Rian. Not because we have the largest fleet, not because we have the strongest weapons, but because we fight with our hearts. And sometimes that is stronger than any technology." As the stars shimmered outside the viewport, the distant lights of the Empire's fleet could be seen moving closer and closer. They were massive, terrifying, a living shadow stretching across the galaxy. The crew felt it too, a mix of fear and adrenaline, but no one faltered. They had been trained for this. They had prepared for the impossible, and above all, they had faith in each other, and in humanity. Somewhere in the Empire's fleet, Emperor Valkor laughed again. "Soon," he murmured, "this joke of a planet will be crushed, and its people will learn what it means to challenge the Empire." But he did not know that humans did not fear impossible odds. He did not know that courage and ingenuity often outweighed raw power. He did not know that Earth was ready, not to beg for mercy, not to surrender, but to fight back in a way the galaxy would never forget. This was the calm before the storm, the moment just before humanity would step forward and show the galaxy that they were no joke, no weaklings, no ants to be crushed. They were human, and humans were about to make history. Earth scientists had been working in secret for years, driven by the knowledge that one day the Empire might notice them. Deep in hidden laboratories beneath the surface of the planet, they had built something that no one else in the galaxy believed possible. A teleportation system capable of moving entire ships across vast distances instantly. It was untested, dangerous, and terrifying, but it was Earth's only hope. Commander Lyra paced on the bridge of Intrepid Dawn, watching her crew prepare for what could be the most important battle in human history. Her eyes scanned each face, young pilots, veterans, engineers, and scientists. They were all tense, all aware of the stakes, but none of them doubted their purpose. Humanity was about to prove itself, not through overwhelming firepower, not through sheer size, but through cleverness, courage, and unity. Captain Rian, his uniform still crisp despite countless hours of preparation, walked among the crew. His voice was calm but carried weight. We have one shot. One chance to show the galaxy who humans really are. If this fails, we will be destroyed. But if it succeeds? He let the pause linger, letting the thought sink in. If it succeeds, we will change the course of history forever. In the hangars below, engineers ran final diagnostics on the fleet's teleportation cores. Every ship hummed with energy, systems glowing as the human fleet prepared for an impossible jump. No one had ever attempted to teleport an entire fleet into the heart of an enemy armada. The risks were unimaginable. Ships could materialize inside solid objects, be torn apart by gravitational anomalies, or lose control entirely. But humans thrived on challenges. Where others saw danger, they saw opportunity. Meanwhile, scientists transmitted final calculations to the bridge. Lyra and her officers studied the projections carefully, checking coordinates, trajectories, and timing. Every second mattered. One miscalculation could mean the destruction of not just a single ship, but the entire human fleet. Lyra clenched her fists, her mind clear. We cannot fail. We must make this work, she whispered. Outside, the Empire's fleet advanced, oblivious to the threat Earth had prepared. Massive ships loomed on the horizon, weapons primed, drones swarming like metallic insects. The humans watched silently, hearts racing, knowing that if the Empire discovered their plan early, it would be over. Every moment counted. Every heartbeat was precious. Lyra turned to her communications officer. Send the signal. Begin the countdown. Her voice was steady, commanding, full of quiet authority. We are about to change everything. We are about to show them that humans are not to be underestimated. The bridge fell silent as the countdown began. 10, 9, 8. The crew held their breath, knowing this could be their last moments alive. 7, 6, 5. Outside the viewport, the stars seemed to blur as the energy around the fleet built to an impossible level. 4, 3, 2, 1. Light exploded across the hangars, across the fleet, across the very space around Earth. Ships shimmered, vibrating with unimaginable energy. And then in a blink, they were gone. The human fleet had vanished. Somewhere in the Empire's armada, officers noticed empty space where Earth's ships had been only moments ago. Confusion rippled through their ranks. Where did they go? One officer shouted. Impossible, another cried. But it was too late. The humans had already taken the first step in a plan the Empire could never have imagined. On the intrepid dawn, Lyra exhaled slowly, letting a small smile touch her lips. They don't know what's coming, she said quietly, almost to herself. They have no idea who they're dealing with. Captain Rian stood beside her, watching the star map. His eyes glimmered with pride and determination. Humanity doesn't just survive, he said. We adapt. We innovate. We fight when everyone else would run. And today we show the galaxy what that means. The human fleet had vanished from Earth's orbit, leaving behind nothing but silence. But that silence was not fear. It was anticipation. It was the calm before a storm so powerful, so unexpected, that the Empire would never see it coming. And deep in the hearts of every human on board, a single thought burned bright. They were not going to die quietly. They were going to win. They were going to prove that humanity, small and underestimated, could stand against the greatest power the galaxy had ever known. The game had begun. And humanity had already made the first move. The Empire's fleet moved like a shadow across the stars, massive warships cutting through space with terrifying precision. Every officer aboard the flagship Oblivion's Eye knew that Earth was only a small planet, and small planets rarely survived the Empire's wrath. Thousands of drones swarmed ahead, scanning for threats while main batteries hummed with lethal energy. The humans below were supposed to be defenseless, a tiny species awaiting inevitable destruction. Admiral Korath, a veteran of countless conquests, stood at the bridge, arms crossed. His eyes swept across the holographic display of Earth's star system. Their defenses are primitive. Their fleet is tiny, he said, voice cold as ice. This planet will fall in less than an hour. There is no risk, no challenge. Prepare to engage, his officers nodded. To them, this battle was routine. Another conquest, another story of Empire dominance written in blood, Bo. The humans on Earth had been preparing in silence, far from the Empire's attention. Commander Lyra paced on the bridge of intrepid dawn, her gaze steady on the approaching signals of the enemy fleet. Every ship in orbit and on the ground was ready, or as ready as it could be. The human fleet had vanished moments ago, teleporting into secret coordinates within the Empire's path. No one knew exactly what would happen next. The tension on the bridge was almost unbearable. Captain Rian walked past the crew, checking systems and giving words of encouragement. "Remember," he said, his voice calm but filled with intensity, "they think we are ants. They think we will die quietly. They are wrong. We do not back down. We do not surrender. Today we show them humanity's courage." The first waves of Imperial drones arrived near Earth's orbit, sweeping across the solar system with ruthless efficiency. Their sensors detected nothing. No ships, no resistance, only empty space. Confusion rippled through the Empire's fleet. "Where are their ships?" one officer shouted. "Sensors must be failing." Another replied frantically, "Impossible! They cannot have moved this fast." But the humans were already gone, teleporting silently into positions that the Empire had never imagined. On the intrepid dawn, Lyra's fingers danced across the controls. "They are coming," she said quietly. "Prepare for the strike. Stay focused, stay calm. We will not fail." Around her, the crew worked seamlessly, each action precise, each command executed without hesitation. Every human knew the stakes. Every human understood that their survival, and the survival of their planet, depended on the success of what was about to come. As the Empire's first fleet drew closer to the teleport coordinates, the humans waited in silence, hearts pounding, adrenaline surging. Outside, the stars shimmered as the hum of teleportation energy rippled across space. It was a dangerous gamble. One misstep, one calculation wrong, and the fleet could vanish into nothingness, or worse, appear in the middle of an enemy starship and be torn apart. But humans thrived on risk. They had survived disasters, wars, and impossible odds for centuries. Today was no different. Admiral Korath frowned as strange readings appeared on his sensors. "What is this?" he demanded. "They are inside our fleet?" He slammed a fist against the console. The Empire's massive ships twisted and turned, trying to respond, but it was too late. Humans had already taken the first move, striking where the Empire was weakest. Shock, confusion, and fear rippled through the ranks of the once unshakable armada. Back on the intrepid dawn, Lyra allowed herself a brief, satisfied smile. "They will learn," she said, voice soft but full of determination. "They will learn that humanity cannot be ignored. We are not weak. We are not small. And we will fight, no matter the cost." Outside, the stars seemed to explode with energy as the human fleet prepared to strike. The Empire had never faced anything like this. They had never fought a species that could move, adapt, and strike with such precision and daring, and yet the humans were only beginning. Today, they would show the galaxy that even the smallest, most underestimated species could rise against the greatest power in the stars. The Empire advanced. Humans waited, and the first clash, though silent for now, was about to change everything. Silence filled the human fleet as they approached their hidden coordinates. Every ship, every crew member held their breath. The moment had come. The intrepid dawn led the fleet, its hull glowing faintly with the energy of the teleportation cores. Commander Lyra's hands hovered over the controls, steady despite the tension in the air. "This is it," she whispered. "No turning back now." Captain Rian walked along the bridge, checking on his pilots. Young faces stared at the view screens, eyes wide with fear and excitement. "Remember," he said firmly, "we are not here to die. We are here to change the game. Strike precisely, strike boldly, and trust each other." Every pilot nodded. They knew what was at stake. Not just survival, but humanity's place in the galaxy. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. Outside the fleet, the stars seemed to blur as if the universe itself held its breath. 7, 6, 5. The energy in the fleet intensified, humming with power that no human had ever truly felt before. 4, 3, 2, 1. A brilliant flash filled the viewport, light brighter than 1,000 suns. And then, in a blink, the human fleet was gone from its hidden coordinates near Earth. Silence replaced the hum of energy. On the Oblivion's eye, the Empire's flagship alarms screamed. "Sensors are malfunctioning," an officer yelled.
"Where did they go?"
Confusion spread like wildfire. Thousands of ships scanned the empty space, but no one could locate the humans. The fleet was paralyzed, uncertain, and vulnerable. Then, with no warning, humans reappeared. Not in the distance, but at the very heart of the Empire's armada. Ships shimmered into existence around command vessels, battleships and supply ships alike. Thousands of human guns targeted critical points, firing precise, coordinated volleys. Shields flared, energy rippled across the Empire's ships, and explosions erupted in impossible places. "Attack!" Commander Lyra shouted. The human fleet moved as one, striking in perfect synchrony. Every ship had a role, every crew member a mission. The Empire, massive and confident just moments ago, now scrambled in chaos. Communications broke down, warships collided, and the once feared fleet became a tangle of confusion and destruction. Captain Ryan led a squadron into the thick of the chaos. Pilots dove between massive hulls, dodging plasma fire and striking at weak points the Empire never expected. Young recruits proved their courage, taking on assignments that older, experienced soldiers might have hesitated to accept. Every hit, every maneuver was precise. Every human knew that failure was not an option. Back on the intrepid Dawn, Lyra coordinated the strike with calm authority. "Focus on their command ships," she ordered. "If we take them down, the rest will collapse. Precision, not chaos." Her voice was steady, her mind razor-sharp. This was more than a battle. This was a message to the Empire, to the galaxy, and to every species that had ever doubted humans. The Empire tried to respond. Massive warships turned to face the new threat, unleashing their full power. Drones swarmed like locusts and energy beams tore across space. But humans adapted instantly, teleporting small squadrons behind enemy lines, cutting off reinforcements and disrupting communication. The Empire had never fought anything like this, and it showed. Fear rippled through even the most veteran officers. "Impossible," Admiral Korath roared, watching explosions tear through his fleet. "They cannot do this." Yet they did. Humans moved like a single organism, striking where they were needed, vanishing when danger threatened, and reappearing where it was least expected. Commander Lyra allowed herself a brief glance at the fleet. Ships burned, but they moved with precision, courage, and unity. Humanity was not just surviving, they were dominating. And in that moment, a spark of hope ignited across the galaxy. Even the smallest, most underestimated species could rise against the mightiest power in the stars. The first strike was only the beginning. The Empire had underestimated humans, and now it would pay dearly. The Empire had never faced a foe like humanity. What had once been an orderly armada, a machine of destruction and control, now trembled under the precision, daring, and unpredictability of the human fleet. Shock spread through the ranks as command ships flared with explosions. Supply vessels disintegrated in sudden bursts of fire, and warships collided in chaotic confusion. The Empire's soldiers had been trained for war, but not for this. Admiral Korath bellowed orders, but no response came fast enough. His fleet was scattered, disoriented, and vulnerable. "Contain them," he roared. "Stop the humans before they destroy everything." Drones swarmed in response, energy beams lanced across the void, and yet every attack seemed to meet empty space. Humans were everywhere and nowhere at the same time, striking in ways the Empire could not predict. On the bridge of intrepid Dawn, Commander Lyra's hands moved with calm precision. Her eyes scanned the tactical display, calculating attacks, anticipating enemy movements, and issuing orders. "Ryan, take your squadron and flank their command ships," she said. "We need to disable their leaders. The rest will collapse without direction." Captain Ryan nodded, voice filled with determination. "Understood. We will make them remember humanity." Young pilots, some barely out of training, flew with a skill that shocked even the most experienced veterans. They darted through enemy fire, striking critical points on massive warships, then vanished through teleportation only to reappear behind other targets. Every move was coordinated, every attack precise. Fear had transformed into courage, panic into strategy, and the humans' bravery became a force the Empire had never reckoned with. Admiral Korath watched in disbelief as his warships burned, one after another. "This cannot be. How can a primitive species—" His words were cut off by another explosion shaking the flagship. Sensors screamed warnings, communications jammed, and officers ran frantically to assess damage. Humanity was not just surviving, they were dominating using tactics that defied logic and expectation. In the chaos, small squads of humans teleported directly into the heart of the enemy formation. Engineers and technicians on the Intrepid Dawn monitored the energy flow, ensuring every jump was calculated perfectly. Every ship, every pilot, every crew member knew the importance of timing and precision. One mistake could be fatal, but they thrived under pressure, their courage matched only by their ingenuity. Captain Ryan's squadron approached the Empire's flagship. Laser fire streaked through space, shields flared, and yet the humans pressed on, striking at weak points that had never been targeted before. "Hold formation," Ryan yelled. "We are the strike they will never forget." Around him, young pilots executed maneuvers that seemed impossible, yet every move worked perfectly. The Empire had underestimated human adaptability, their willingness to risk everything for survival, and their relentless courage. Commander Lyra watched the unfolding chaos with a mix of pride and urgency. She knew the battle was far from over, but humanity had proven something critical. They were not a weak species, and they would not be crushed. "This is our moment," she whispered. "Show them that humans cannot be broken, that we will fight, that we will endure, and that we will win." Explosions rocked the Empire's fleet. Command centers went dark, and their coordinated advance fell apart. The soldiers who had once believed themselves invincible now faced fear, real fear. The humans, tiny and underestimated, had taken control of the battle. The once mighty Empire was crumbling under the force of determination, ingenuity, and sheer human spirit. And in that moment, across the bridges of every human ship, the same thought echoed silently. They were no longer the prey. They were the hunters. The galaxy would remember this day. Humanity would not be mocked. Humanity would not be ignored. Humanity had struck, and the Empire had stumbled for the first time in its history. The tide had turned. The humans were winning. The Empire's flagship, Oblivion's Eye, was surrounded. Its massive hull was scarred by countless human attacks, shields flickering under the relentless assault. Emperor Valkor's face, once cold and confident, was now twisted with disbelief and rage. How is this possible?" he demanded, voice trembling with fury. Every advisor and officer around him shook, fear spreading like wildfire. The humans, the species they had mocked, dismissed, and deemed insignificant, were tearing apart their armada. Commander Lyra's eyes were fixed on the tactical display. Every move, every maneuver of the human fleet was precise. She coordinated attacks with calm authority, ensuring that no Empire ship could escape or regroup. "Focus on the command ships," she ordered. "Break their leadership and the rest will fall into chaos." Her voice carried not only command but confidence, the kind that inspired the entire fleet to push beyond fear and exhaustion. Captain Ryan led a squadron of fighters, darting through the debris of the Empire's shattered ships. Young pilots, some barely trained, executed complex maneuvers with courage that astounded even their commanders. They struck at weak points in the flagship's defenses, then vanished through teleportation, only to reappear behind other critical targets. Each strike was like a hammer against the Empire's pride, each maneuver a demonstration of human ingenuity and fearlessness. On board Intrepid Dawn, Lyra felt the weight of responsibility, but also the thrill of possibility. The humans had taken the first decisive moves, but victory would only come if they pushed forward with relentless precision. "We cannot hesitate," she whispered. "We fight not just for ourselves, but for every human who has ever been doubted, dismissed, or laughed at." Around her, the crew worked in perfect synchrony, each one a vital part of a machine powered by courage, determination, and faith in humanity. The Empire struggled to respond. Massive ships fired their weapons, unleashing torrents of energy, but the humans were unpredictable. Small squads teleported inside enemy formations, striking vital systems, sabotaging weapons, and cutting communication lines. Chaos reigned among the Empire's forces. Ships collided, drones malfunctioned, and warships drifted uselessly in space. Fear gripped officers who had once believed themselves untouchable. "Admiral Korath," Valkor roared. "Stop them! You cannot let them reach the command center." But Korath's voice was shaky, commands delayed and ineffective. Every attempt to reorganize his fleet failed. The humans were faster, smarter, and more daring than anything the Empire had faced. Every time they struck, they vanished before retaliation could reach them. Captain Ryan's squadron approached the flagship's core defenses. He glanced at his young pilots and saw their determination burning in their eyes. "This is it," he said. "We either end this today or we fight knowing the risk. Show them what humans are capable of." They nodded, understanding that the galaxy had never seen anything like them. And it was time to make a statement. With a final coordinated strike, human ships disabled the Empire's command systems, cutting power to critical weapons and jamming communications across the Armada. Explosions rocked the flagship as humans teleported in and out, striking relentlessly. Valkor's face paled, his confidence shattered. Humanity, the species he had mocked, was now in control of the battle. Commander Lyra allowed herself a small, proud smile. The Empire had underestimated humans, and now they were paying the price. "We are not weak," she whispered, voice firm. "We are not small, and we will never be forgotten." Across the human fleet, the same thought spread silently but powerfully. Victory was within reach. The Empire had faltered. The humans had proven that courage, intelligence, and relentless determination could overcome even the most overwhelming force. Today, humanity would not just survive, they would triumph. The turning point had come, and the galaxy would remember this moment forever. The Empire's fleet was in chaos. Their massive ships, once symbols of unstoppable power, floated damaged and powerless among the wreckage of their own armada. Smoke and fire streaked across space as human ships struck with unrelenting precision. For the first time in its history, the Empire faced defeat, and it was at the hands of a species they had dismissed as weak, as insignificant as a joke. On the bridge of intrepid dawn, Commander Lyra watched the enemy flagship, Oblivion's eyes struggling to maintain control. Her eyes were sharp, filled with determination and pride. "This is it," she said quietly. "The heart of their fleet. Strike now and the rest will crumble." Around her, every officer, every crew member knew the weight of this moment. This was more than a battle. It was a statement to the galaxy that humanity would no longer be underestimated. Captain Ryan's squadron darted through the chaos, weaving between explosions and debris. Young pilots, some with their first taste of real combat, moved with courage that defied experience. They teleported into critical positions, sabotaging weapon systems, cutting communications, and striking where the Empire was weakest. Each maneuver was precise, calculated, and deadly. The humans were not just surviving, they were dominating. Inside the Empire's flagship, Emperor Valkor's face was pale, his confidence shattered. "Impossible," he screamed. "How can this species—" But his words faltered, drowned out by alarms and explosions. His fleet, once his pride and his weapon, had become his downfall. Every attempt to retaliate failed. Every strategy was anticipated and countered. Humanity had changed the rules of battle, and there was no turning back. Commander Lyra stood steady and commanding. "All units converge on the flagship," she ordered. "This ends now." The fleet responded like one mind, moving in perfect coordination. Teleportation strikes, laser volleys, and precision attacks combined to overwhelm the enemy. The Empire's forces faltered, their massive ships crippled and immobilized. The humans had taken control and nothing could stop them. Captain Rian led the final assault on Oblivion's Eye. He glanced at his squadron, seeing the fear, hope, and determination in their eyes. "We fight not just for victory," he said, voice strong, "but for every human who has ever been doubted. Today we show the galaxy who we are." With that, the squadron teleported inside the flagship's critical systems, striking the final blow that rendered it helpless. Explosions rocked the massive ship, and the Empire's leadership realized defeat was inevitable. Back on intrepid dawn, Lyra allowed herself a small, proud smile. Humanity had done the impossible. They had faced the greatest power in the galaxy, the Empire that ruled stars with fear and fire, and they had won. The humans had not only survived, they had triumphed. They had proved that courage, determination, and ingenuity could overcome any obstacle. The Empire surrendered. Its massive fleet, crippled and demoralized, could do nothing but yield. Commander Lyra addressed the galaxy through all channels, her voice steady and strong. "Humanity has survived. Humanity has fought, and humanity will never be underestimated again." Across the stars, humans and other species alike listened, witnessing the rise of a new era, one in which humanity had earned respect not by size or firepower alone, but by the spirit that could not be broken. Captain Ryan stood beside Lyra, watching the fleet. "We didn't just win a battle," he said quietly. "We changed history. We made the galaxy see us." Lyra nodded, her gaze sweeping over the brave faces of her crew. "Yes," she said softly, "and this is only the beginning. Humanity will grow stronger. We will explore, protect, and inspire. Today, we are no longer a joke. Today we are legends." Across Earth and the human-controlled sectors of space, people cheered, cried, and embraced one another. Humanity had faced extinction and had emerged victorious. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter that day, as if acknowledging the courage and determination of the